They laughed as they crossed the line, too comfortable, too sure of themselves. But when she pulled out her CIA badge, their smiles faltered, their laughter dying in their throats. What had been casual amusement twisted into sheer panic. The midday sun bathed Lake Merritt Park in Oakland, California, casting golden light over families strolling by the water's edge, children chasing ducks, and joggers in sync with their steady rhythm. But amidst the peace, one woman sat alone on a weathered bench, watching the world go by with practiced ease. Maya. In her mid-30s, dressed in a simple white blouse and a flowing skirt, she looked like any other person enjoying a quiet afternoon. But nothing about Maya was ordinary. Beneath her calm, serene exterior, her mind was a razor-sharp tool, trained by years in the CIA. Today wasn't about duty, it was a rare escape, a moment of peace. But peace, for Maya, was fleeting. From the corner of her eye, she saw them, a group of uniformed officers, their laughter carrying across the park, their energy too carefree, too out of place. They weren't here for work, not responding to an emergency, not patrolling. They were bored, looking for someone to amuse them. And that someone was her. She didn't react right away. Her training told her to wait. To observe. To read the room. Maya placed her book aside, folding the page corner deliberately. She kept her gaze steady, her posture still. They were coming closer, their laughter shattering the park's calm. 3 men. One tall, his name tag reading Grayson, his eyes already trained on her with unsettling interest. "Afternoon, ma'am," he said, his voice polite but edged with something darker. A smirk tugged at the corner of his lips. Maya's gaze never wavered as she looked up, her face a neutral mask. "Afternoon, officers. Enjoying the day?" "Sure are," one of them replied, his eyes lingering a little too long on her skirt. A subtle move, but Maya saw it. She felt it. "It's a nice day," she responded coolly, not revealing the slightest hint of discomfort. Grayson, emboldened by her calmness, leaned in further. "You don't see many people reading paperbacks these days," he said, gesturing toward her book. "What's it about?" Maya's voice was calm but distant. "Just something I've read before. Mind if we take a look?" The third officer stepped closer, his tone lighter, but his body language clearly following Grayson's lead. Maya leaned back slightly, her posture unyielding. Her hands were calm in her lap, her voice firm but polite. "It's just a book. Why would you need to see it?" For a split second, Grayson's smirk faltered, but he quickly recovered. "Just making conversation," he said, though the words rang false. She felt the change in the air, thickening with unspoken tension. This wasn't about conversation. This was about power, about control. And Maya was no one's target. She stood up slowly, deliberately, forcing them to step back. "Touching someone without their permission is never harmless," she said, her voice sharp as a blade, cutting through the fragile tension. Grayson's bravado crumbled, but Maya didn't let up. "What exactly are you hoping to accomplish here?" Her question sliced through the air, her words demanding an answer. The officers exchanged glances, confusion blooming in their eyes. They hadn't expected resistance. Not from her. Maya's calm was unwavering, her gaze unwavering as she reached into her bag with deliberate slowness. She pulled out her wallet, flicked it open, and revealed her ID with a quiet precision. "CIA," she said, the word hanging in the air like a heavy weight. "Special Agent Maya Daniels." Grayson's face drained of color, his smirk vanishing as he saw the badge. The officer with sunglasses took a step back, his eyes wide, while the third officer remained frozen, his mouth agape. Maya let the silence settle. Let them feel the crushing weight of their mistake. "You thought you could harass someone with no consequences," she continued, her voice cold, her gaze steely. "You didn't stop to think I might be someone who could hold you accountable." Grayson stammered, his confidence crumbling to dust. "I didn't mean any disrespect," he muttered, the words falling flat. Maya's response was as sharp as a whip. Disrespect isn't about intent. It's about impact. Her voice resonated with authority, her words cutting deep. And your behavior today has consequences. The group of park-goers, who had gathered to watch, now stood a little closer. Their faces reflected something new: respect. Recognition. A quiet demand for accountability. I'm not going to report this today, Maya said, her tone still ice-cold. But know this, if I hear about anything like this again, there will be no warnings. You'll answer for it. At a level you're not prepared for. The officers nodded quickly, their earlier arrogance shattered. Maya held their gaze for a moment longer, allowing the weight of her words to sink in. Then, without another word, she tucked her badge away. She turned to the onlookers, offering them a brief nod. Everything's under control, she said, her tone softer now, reassuring. As she sat back down on her bench, the officers began to disperse. Their laughter silenced, their posture tense. Maya knew this wasn't over, not for them. And not for anyone who had witnessed the exchange. The lesson wasn't just for them, it was for everyone who watched the power of composure and dignity in the face of disrespect. Later, a woman approached Maya, her young daughter in tow, eyes wide with admiration. That was something else, she said softly. Are you really CIA? Maya gave a small, knowing smile, standing to meet her gaze. I am, she replied simply, before adding, but this wasn't about my job. It was about boundaries. Respect. And knowing when to stand up for yourself. The woman nodded, her admiration clear. I'm glad my daughter saw that, she said, her voice soft, as her daughter gazed up at Maya with wide eyes. Maya knelt slightly, meeting the young girl's gaze. You're stronger than you think, she said quietly. And no one, no matter who they are, has the right to make you feel small. As the mother and daughter walked away, Maya returned to her seat, her gaze following them for a moment. The park resumed its rhythm, but something had shifted. The air was charged, alive with the ripples of what had just transpired. Maya knew the officers had learned something today, but so had everyone else who had witnessed it. Strength wasn't just about what you could do, it was about standing firm, even when it wasn't convenient. And in the end, it was the example you set that would leave the longest lasting impact.